The Oklahoma Sooners had some bad news on the Thanksgiving Thursday night availability report.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. On today's show, we're going to go through our final predictions for Oklahoma versus LSU, give you your fan feels, the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling about this game going into the weekend, keys to the game in the second segment. But we'll start here. The latest injury report, Jay, revealed some not so great news for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah, kind of stinky, if you want me to be 100% honest. And it's not because it's full of a lot of people. It's who the particular person that's added to this list, right? We'll pull it on up. Looks like Jake Maikkula is in the doubtful stage now. So the starting center will most likely not play in this game, which means you'll see some transitions again on the offensive line. Another configuration. But I don't think it's as bad as it seems. I mean, you will play Febichi Nwaiwu as your center now because he's had experience at it and he's taken snaps before in practice. And so he'll be your one that will play center in this game. I'm assuming that you're probably going to go ahead and slide Ryan Fogier back to right guard and let Derek Simmons run the right tackle spot. Fogier struggled the last couple of games, and we saw him come out for Simmons for a few snaps or whatnot. Last game, Simmons took over the entire game because of the struggles against those NFL edges. So I think that we'll probably see that exact same configuration, but man, it's that's brutal to see that Jake Maikkula is now on the doubtful list.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing to see your starting center go down. And I'll say this, Febichi's been working at center since Troy Everett got hurt. So that's been like 2 months. He's probably been taking all of those second team practice reps in the event that something like this were to happen. So at least he's a little bit better prepared than say, hey, I'm getting 1 week of first team reps with the Oklahoma offense. Now, center is a really challenging position. Things are really difficult because you're also responsible for helping align the offensive line with your pass protection calls and things like that. So I imagine there will be a little bit of a transition, maybe even a slow start from this offense, but he's a veteran player. He's been your most consistent player for the last 2 seasons. He's somebody who's going to have a good understanding of the offense. And maybe this forces Ben Arbuckle to kind of simplify things a little bit, take the RPO game out of the equation. Let's run it. Let's pass it. Let's simplify the offense for at least this week. And then we can go into hopefully playoff preparation and ramp things back up with a healthy offensive line. So The other good part about this, Jay, Ryan Fogier has a bunch of snaps under his belt at this point.
He does. He's got a lot of them, and he's got a lot of a little bit more experience. So I'm not as concerned about him as some have been because of just, the performance. He's done well in spots. He's looked like a freshman in spots. And so for me, I'm pretty comfortable with him playing out there at the right guard spot. This line now probably going to be a little bit nastier. Febichi has been showing a little nastiness to his game. Eddie Pierre-Louis, of course, has been nasty since he took over the left guard spot. And I anticipate he's not giving that up ever again with the way that he's been playing. You can see the refinement in his game. So Gentry is, of course, out as well. Our Mason Thomas is as expected. He's out. So you're not going to have those 2 players, unfortunately. I do like seeing that Jaden Jackson is at probable. And so you'll be able to have him back there to stuff that run game because Barry and Caden Durham are going to be 2 major problems in the run game. Those dudes can ball, even though LSU, and if you watch the crossover edition I did with Mike Moscona, he kind of pointed it out. LSU literally lost 5 offensive linemen from last season, with 4 of them leaving off to the league. I think another backup left. And then the guy that was starting, he ain't even playing no more because he just wasn't good enough. So you're starting to see them fall apart. And that's kind of where the struggles came for them this year. And so I think we'll be able to handle them on our defensive side of the ball. It's really just going to be the questions on offense. But John, when I look at the LSU side too, there's a name on there that kind of make me sad that we ain't going to be able to see.
You're talking about one Nick Anderson?
One Nick Anderson. We won't get to see him in Norm. We thought this would be his revenge game, right? He left. went to, greener pastures, and we understood why. That makes sense. But he's not even gonna play. It looked like. So he's out with Nussmeier. The other Anderson is out, who's I think is their best receiver personally. And yeah, that's what,
Well,
3 offensive linemen that do play.
yeah.
That's gonna be
Brandon
out
Moore
too.
is their starting center too. Like he's
Yeah.
started 11 games for them at center.
Yeah,
He's not going to play this week. So, him with Michael Van Buren, who, yes, he's started more than 10 games at this point in his collegiate career. Still, that's not necessarily going to bode well for their offensive line going up against our elite defensive tackles when you don't have your center available for you. So, yeah, it's the injury report certainly hurts Oklahoma a little bit. It's certainly hurting LSU. They've got guys that aren't going to be available, aren't going to play. And who knows what we see on the Friday availability report too. There might be some downgrades, some additions, who knows? But it's one of those games where I think LSU is just trying to get through the rest of the season. They're just trying to finish the year, be done, get ready for bowl games, get ready for their transfer portal departures, figure out who their head coach is going to be, and just call it a season. It's been a disastrous season for them. A team that started off they were a top 5 team preseason, had big SEC title aspirations and college football playoff aspirations, and it never really materialized. So
yeah,
except for week 1, Brian Kelly actually got a week 1 win. And so everybody's like, this is it. Everything's different this year, and how quickly things can change. And then for Oklahoma, man, it's all those guys that are going to be available. That they're going to be busting their tails and they're going to be playing their hearts out for the guys that couldn't play because they want to give them more meaningful football in the 2025 season. And if you can get through this game unscathed, which to me is as important as getting the win, that would be huge.
Yeah, this will be a big turning point or whatnot for that. You want to survive in this one for LSU. Survival is for them. For us is advancement. We really need this win to where we can start pulling receipts. That's really what this is about for us fans. We don't care about anything. Well, we want to go to the playoffs because it sounds great, feels great. We want to pull receipts. We want to pull receipts. We want to talk smack. That's really what this is for us for the most part. But luckily, this isn't a situation where, talking to somebody about it, and the one thing they brought up is like, hey, man, be careful. This could be like you guys going against Alabama last year. And it's like, but we're not in Baton Rouge. If we were in Baton Rouge, I could say, I'm a little nervous, only because we're in Baton Rouge and it's just, it's a road game. Now we at home. Yeah. Ain't no reason, period. We should clamor them. And we'll talk about the keys because John, it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, as I talk more and more about it, I'm just like, but anyway, back to the injury report itself. I'm really hoping that we see at least Jaden Jackson fall off the list. As y'all know, y'all saw the Reggie Powers on there. He's gone for the first half. They appealed it. Looked like it did get denied, so he's not playing the first half. Sucks. But that just means in the second half he gets to come in with a vengeance and start really wreaking havoc even more. You
don't want to see Reggie Powers, who had to sit and watch for a half because of a targeting call. Nobody wants. LSU does not want to see that. LSU fans don't want that. Michael Van Buren doesn't want that. That's I can't wait. It's going to be like Mad Max and Thunderdome. Reggie Powers coming out in second half. He's going to be released, and the fury is just going to be all over the place on that field on Saturday.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it the first time he gets out there. He's going to find a way to get the hit.
Yeah.
Get that one hit like he did against South Carolina. He's going to find a way to get another one of those. And when he does, you'll be like, dang, he's back.
Yep. Keys to the game for both the offense and the defense against the LSU Tigers coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
The holidays always feel a little easier when you already know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to family and friends, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to their door. And this week's the best time to jump in because their cyber sale is here and the deals are huge. The quality is exactly what you hope for. Incredibly tender steaks, rich flavors, and meals that make hosting or weekend cooking even easier. And the variety is underrated for real. You got steaks, burgers, you got some comfort meals, sides, desserts. It's one of those gifts that truly fits anyone. So save big on for unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an additional 20% off select favorites during Cyber Sale. And for an additional $35 off, use promo code college at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code college. Terms apply. See site for details.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Jay, let's start with the offensive side of the ball because it's going to be a little bit different with Febichi Nwaiwu starting at center. But what do you think the key to the game is for Oklahoma offensively?
Establishing the run and running the ball. Run the ball, run it, and run more because you didn't see Taylor Tatum on there at all on the first availability. And Brent Venables mentioned that he's healthy. He's for the first time this season, he's fully available. And because of that, they're going to throw him out there on the field. I can guarantee it. So you'll see some Taylor Tatum. You'll see a mixture with Xavier Robinson. Where's Tory Blaylock? Now we all know that neither Tory Blaylock or Xavier Robinson has showed up on the injury report. And that's mainly because they weren't at risk to not play. They've always been playing through the pain and being okay with playing through the pain. So now it looks like Taylor Tatum will be able to join them as he's at the point of he can actually play without any type of quote unquote limitations. And so in that case, I expect to see a lot of Tatum in this game. I expect him to really run a little bit more. He may take the bulk of the carries to give Rob an opportunity to rest that knee and let Tory Blaylock. His entire body's like the red of his jersey on College Football 26, where you like the wear and tear. That's literally what he is. It's like everything's like wear and tear all over Tory Blaylock because of how much punishment he's taken this year. So my anticipation is really a lot of Tory Blaylock. And again, I'm going to go back to the key thing for me for Oklahoma is run that dang ball. Just run it. Like you said, get rid of RPO. Don't even think about it. Just hand that bad boy off or get into a pass set and throw that thing.
A lot of Taylor Tatum you're expecting.
A lot of Taylor Tatum.
Okay. Yeah. So I think so too. I think we'll still see some Xavier Robinson because he just doesn't know how to sit out. Like that guy just doesn't know how to. Hopefully the coaching staff kind of saves him from himself and that Taylor Tatum's able to go in and be productive and effective. LSU's an up and down run defense. They've had some really, really good performances. They shut Alabama down just like Oklahoma did. They shut down Florida earlier in the year. They shut down Clemson earlier in the year. But, Ole Miss and South Carolina and Vanderbilt, Texas A&M and Arkansas were all able to have big yardage days on the ground against them. Obviously, Western Kentucky was not able to. But if you're going to get the run game going, it has to just be, hey, we're going to turn and hand it off. Because when you get this offensive line going downhill, they're much more effective and much more productive. When it's been attached to the RPO game, it's been a little less productive. But some of that is because they're not attacking with the same ferocity down the field. Some of it is because the quarterback's not giving it when he's supposed to. So this is just one of those, it needs to kind of have a vanilla game script offensively, like you might in the non-conference part of your season. Because I think you can win it with a vanilla offense. I think you can win playing defense the way that you play and then just doing enough again offensively. This has been the script for the last few weeks. They've done just enough. Now I still want to see them attack down the field. I want to see them test this LSU secondary in their corners. But again, calculated risks where you're attacking the sidelines, and John Mateer's shown to be effective doing that at different times throughout the season. Let's keep attacking, keep stretching the field, keep using the speed that you have on the outside at wide receiver and make them work for it. Yeah. My biggest concern is just kind of seeing more of the same. I'd like to see just a little bit of a difference in the way that they attack offensively, especially with the run game. So we'll see what Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer cook up, but I think Oklahoma's offense is good enough to score enough points on LSU's defense. But really what it comes down to, Jay, is LSU's offense isn't really going to be able to do much against Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't based upon how we've played this year. we can't go out there laxed. We can't go out there with the mindset, yeah, LSU has quit. We can't go out the mindset is, oh, they're just waiting on their head coach to be announced, in which the anticipation is he'll be announced before this game. So the players will probably know and have an idea that Lane Kiffin is on his way before this game starts. So because of that, I don't know if there's going to be an extra spark or extra pep to their step or extra little life to their game. I don't know. But all I know is Michael Van Buren is a quarterback we were intrigued by as a recruit. He was very raw, and we thought that he needed a couple years to refine himself. He's played the last couple of years, and he's shown you, yeah, he needs a lot of refining. The good thing about him is that he's not a runner. He's a good scrambler, though. He will move around and move the pocket to where he can have buy himself some additional time, especially the way this line is played, and get rid of the ball. And he's not damaged goods when it comes to being just used to getting like clobbered all the time. He can still play. He's still got that game. So for us, it's going to be really containing him and hitting him right before he gets rid of that ball. There is one name that did not show up on the injury reports that we know some of these defenders will be rating for. Good old boy Bauer Sharp. I know that everybody's going to be waiting for that. Yeah. We know there's an opportunity to kind of force a fumble there. So, the players are going to be looking for any chance to get that. Let him catch it. Just so we can get a chance to try to knock that ball out of his hands or whatnot. So don't let Van Buren dictate the game. Luckily, weather-wise, it was initially going to be a little gross and soggy. Looks like that's gone. It's going to be just chilly. So we should be okay in the weather department. We just got to go out there and execute. That's the most important thing. If we go out there and execute, we'll be good.
Yeah, I expect this defense to just keep playing the way that they've been playing. They show no signs of getting too high on themselves, getting too ahead of themselves. The mentality is next play, next game, next moment, shut everybody down. It's not, hey, we've done enough. We've done our job. No, they're still looking to do their job, and they're still looking to really dominate. And it comes from those guys up front. They don't want anybody to get any yardage on them. And you talked about Bauer Sharp. Well, how about David Stone and Caden Durham? Childhood friends. Like,
yeah,
that there's going to be a little something there. One guy wanting to prove something to the other guy. So that's going to be kind of fun. But yeah, this is one of those games where Michael Van Buren is certainly athletic enough to make things difficult for you. They've got wide receivers that are good enough to make things difficult for you. We saw at times last year in that game against the Sooners, and we've seen it different times throughout the season. It's just the offense as a whole consistently isn't good enough. They're only averaging 19.3 points per game when you take away the 56 that they scored against Southeastern Louisiana earlier in the season. In SEC play alone, they're averaging 19.67 points per game.
Yeah.
On offense. Now, that's better than Oklahoma's offense, which is averaging just 15 points per game in SEC play. But your defense has been lights out for the most part. And so I expect it to be, again, they're going to get LSU into some longer down and distances where they're forced to throw the ball. And that's going to bode well for Oklahoma, even without our Mason Thomas, because we've seen Taylor Wine, Marvin Jones Jr., PJ Adeboware, Danny Okoye. That group is good enough to rush the passer without our Mason Thomas.
Yeah, and we don't concern about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no concerns there. That's my favorite part, is that we actually don't have to have any concerns. Nope. That's the thing that warms your heart the most. Our Mason isn't playing, but that's not a problem. It's fine. We've got Taylor Wine is basically coming there and said, "Hey, I got this. Get off my back, boys." Yeah. And you're seeing Marvin Jones, like you said, Marvin Jones Jr. stepped up a lot. He's putting himself in a situation where he's going to end up on somebody's NFL roster. He may not get drafted. He may be a free agent, or he may get drafted late. They'll see the upside, the measurables, and be like, yeah, well, there's a possibility. We'll take a flyer on it. But he's showing that motor's there. He's balling. So I'm pretty excited about seeing that too. Then PJ, of course, and Danny's going to get a lot of run as well, which is awesome. Well, we should be able to filter through our typical 24, 25 defensive players in this game. And I'm glad that we can do that. And we close this. Again, 3 weeks of rest, 3 weeks of build up and anticipation of who we play, and we can kind of go from there.
Yep. Just take care of business this week. That really is the biggest key, is that Oklahoma comes into this with a business mindset and doesn't take LSU lightly. I think
That's it.
probably the message from Brent Venables is this is the SEC. Any team can rise up and beat any other team any week. It doesn't matter. Just look at us last year. So, all right, let's get to some fan feels. We'll give you our final predictions coming up here on Locked On Sooners.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets, everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Like right now, you've got this Oklahoma game popping up here, spread-wise, 10.5. Whew, with a 36.5 over-under. My goodness, this is going to be potentially a low-scoring game. So if you want to jump in that, you can, because it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Jay, let's get into some fan feels because I think a lot of folks are excited for this one. This is a great opportunity for Oklahoma, but let's start with this one. I just hope to see us find something that works on offense to get a little confidence before the playoffs. And also, I'm hopeful that we can get this W without anyone else getting injured. This one comes from Buck Champs on YouTube.
Oh, I agree. The injury piece is the one thing that I'm the most concerned about. Truth be told, I'm not concerned about the offense anymore. I've said it before. I'm like, it is what it is. They have moments where they'll go out there and they can show you that they can score 20-something points. And then they have moments where they show you they can't score 3. Besides, titanium leg, putting those in between the uprights. So in that case, as long as we can keep getting close enough to the red zone for Tate to do his thing, I'm good. But yeah, I am at the, all right, it is what it is. This offense is what it is.
It is what it is, and it's not very good. But
yeah,
they will do what it takes, of course, and hopefully get the offense to score a few touchdowns. Hey, we got 2 offensive touchdowns last week. If we can get 2 offensive touchdowns this week, I feel pretty confident that Oklahoma wins.
Same. If we can do that, that's all that matters. We just need to score 2. I think we're good. Because I hate to be a wet rag, but I mentioned it, dog. It just pouring water on everybody's parade, man. They're not very good right now. And they're not even playing inspired football. Like, they're not even really trying. And they're bowl eligible. They're gonna make a bowl game, right? They're already at 7 wins, and it's just they just don't feel like half players don't feel like they just want to be there anymore right now. It's just such a Debbie Downer of a game. And everybody I've seen evaluated and talking to LSU people, they're just like, yep, y'all gonna beat us. Y'all gonna blow us out. Y'all gonna destroy us. I'm like, man, y'all taking away all the fun. Like, who's a good player? They hurt. I'm like, okay, never mind.
That does make for a dangerous team because they're seeing all the talk all week long about how LSU didn't have a chance and Oklahoma's going to win and blah, 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 blah. And listen, I don't think Oklahoma's going to get too high on it, but you could certainly see LSU come out and play some inspired ball because like nobody's believing in them. Floyd on X says, kind of like the Sooners' chances to begin with, now even more with their injury report. Tigers are kind of hurting.
Yeah, they on the struggle bus. And it's one of those, it really does feel like, what was it, us last year in some ways. But I think the big difference is that when we got to this point of the year, our line was for the most part, quote unquote, established. A lot of the players that had been hurt most of the year, the ones that had played the last few games were playing. So Missouri, Alabama, we had a lot of the same dudes on the field that we wanted on the field on the offensive line. And so you felt way more comfortable, right? Maine, you started to feel more comfortable. Like, okay, you're starting to see them get better and better week over week. I think from the Ole Miss game, as you progress, you saw them get a little bit better here and there, and then it was just a decision on the quarterback to get rid of the ball. Yeah. I don't think LSU has the same scenario right now. It's just like dudes keep falling every week. Yeah. And now they've losing a couple of their wide receivers and especially the starting center. Because like for us, we dealt with so much center turmoil in the first couple of games. That's when you start to be like, oh, hey, this might not be a good thing. But when Troy Everett came back, he didn't come back out the game. Him and Febichi Nwaiwu were your 2 most consistent starters all year,
Mhm.
period, especially when Troy came back for Tennessee. So you're like, okay, I think we should be fine. And so that's kind of what I feel like. I don't think LSU's at that point, though. I think their linemen just keep going up and down like every single week. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have the luck we had last year.
Well, they fired a coach. They're just kind of hanging
That
on for
too.
dear life, like this is a program that's just like, can we just get to our next head coach and
Yep.
then go from there? So
That's what it feels like.
yeah. This one comes from Red River Ramblers, and I thought this might have been the most creative one. Oklahoma has the game in the bag. Problem is, it's a paper bag that can rip, and we have a tendency to piss on the bag. We all know a wet paper bag is worse than no bag at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very fascinating take there. And you're not wrong. Just don't, don't tear up the wet paper bag. Don't get the paper bag wet by peeing on it.
Yeah. This one feels different. Like this season feels different though,
It really does.
This feels different than 2023 when, you start the season great, you beat Texas, you survive against UCF, then you lose road games to Kansas and Oklahoma State. It feels different than that. It feels like this team isn't reading their own praise. They're not, again, getting too high on themselves. They understand that they've still got work to do. There's nothing perfect about this team, especially if you look at the offensive side of the ball. So the defense, I think, has to stay locked in. They know they have to stay locked in because the offense isn't scoring enough. So the defense is like, all right, it's on us to make sure that what the offense does give us, excuse me for that poor English, is enough. And that's our job as the defense. So we can't take a series off. We can't take a playoff. We've got to be locked in for 4 quarters.
It's true. You got
So
to stay locked in.
Different.
Yeah, it does. It feels a lot different. And all we got to do is lock in, man. I think we can do it.
Yep. Yeah. So this next one, last one right here, comes from Killer Bees over on YouTube. He says, anyone thinking this one is a done deal, better think again. Just 4 more quarters of football. Have to stay focused. I'm hoping we see their best performance yet. Boomer.
Sooner. I agree. I 100% agree. This isn't a done deal. It's all about us executing on our side and actually showing up and playing, like mentioned, our best ball. We do that, we're good. And I think we can. I think we have it right in front of us. We've done it on a few occasions. We've surprised even ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I would like us to, you know what? If there's a game I want us to replicate, just give me South Carolina.
Yeah. Shoot, I'd take last week against Ole Miss, or against Missouri, not Ole Miss, against Missouri, where it's, hey, our offense scores a couple touchdowns, we get a field goal, defense shuts them down completely, and ball game. Like, because it never really felt like after the first half that Missouri was going to win the game. So give me a non-dramatic, hey, we kind of have it in the bag in the first half, and then we go through the second half and we just take care of business and get out of there with the dub. Like, to me, that would be awesome. And if it's like South Carolina, fine. If it's, where you have to score more than that, I would be a little disappointed. But if they score a bunch of points and win a game scoring a bunch of points, that'd be all right too. Because again, all that matters is just win. Final predictions, Jay. What do you got for the Oklahoma Sooners?
So I mentioned it a minute ago. The game that I feel like this needs to be like, South Carolina, but without a touchdown. I think Oklahoma should win this game 24-6.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm landing too, is somewhere in around 23. That's kind of where I've stuck at Oklahoma for a lot of weeks over the last few weeks, because that's about where they've been scoring. They've been getting some help from the defensive side of the ball to get them there. But yeah, I think 23-6 is kind of where I'm at. I don't think they score a touchdown. This offense is not better than Missouri's offense right now. It's not better than Alabama's offense right now. Alabama was able to get a couple touchdowns. They drove the ball in Oklahoma, but Oklahoma was able to get stops when they needed to. Again, closing the game strong against the Crimson Tide with 4 straight stops. And then against Missouri, they gave up 2 field goals, and that was it. Yeah. The most they could have had was 9 because they blocked a field goal too. So I just think that this Oklahoma defense is too locked in right now that LSU is not going to be able to score more than 10. And so Oklahoma is going to be able to walk away from this one with a comfortable victory.
Yeah, double-digit win. We got to close it. Let's make it happen, guys. We can. We got to do is walk out there and take it. It's right there in our lap.
And let's see some Auburn/Michigan version of John Mateer. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
If we could have like one Thanksgiving wish, that would be what we got.
Agreed.
All right. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and is enjoying their long weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We'll have a little bit different schedule for our live show after the game. So kind of be tuned in for that. We'll let you know exactly when we're going to go live after Oklahoma versus LSU, because Jay's going to be at the game. I'll be traveling back from Texas visiting with my family, but we will have you covered with whatever happens on Saturday here on Locked On Sooners. But until then, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. Boomer
Sooner. And it's November 28th, and it's a great day to say, run the dang ball.
Run the